to all of you on YouTube who look at these videos. And for those unemployed who have been forgotten, I will read to you a piece of information that I got today that will shed some dim light on what we are about to face. I have included some videos from the internet, and before I forget to mention, if these videos are from you and you don't want me to show them, let me know. I feel that the news media has forgotten about us and are not following up on this situation. I will spread this for all to see. Our government in their infinite wisdom are playing games with our lives. You and I being unemployed are a problem to them when it comes to money. It's better to bail out the banks than it is to take care of the people they screwed.
The reality of the crisis in the U.S. economy. People who used to own their own homes are living hand to mouth on land once occupied by those less fortunate. In the last month, some 60,000 houses were repossessed, their occupants forced out when they could no longer meet ever-increasing mortgage payments. Now they shower at a local church and get by on handouts. They have nowhere else to go, and it's a difficult adjustment, but some are determined to get back on track.
Once I do get a job full-time, instead of just one day a week, I'll be able to save my money and get a car and make it easier to go back to work.
This woman used to live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, but when her husband fell ill, it became impossible to make ends meet. Now they live in a mobile home at the camp, and family visits are a thing of the past.
We have a lot of grandkids, too. And they used to always come over and stay and stuff. They don't come here. I don't want them to come here. We go there and see them at their house.
Others, too, are finding it difficult to let go of what they once had.
I lost the home, settled all my bills, sold it for, which was nothing compared to what I bought it for, and now I'm homeless. And that's kind of hard for me to come by here and see my home.
It's a grim situation, and with more and more people joining the camp every day, it's one that's likely to get worse before it gets better. Wendy Urquhart, BBC News.
You are watching this newscast in the comfort of your own home, but every night there are families with children who have no place to stay.
But it's a real crisis here in Central Florida. Stephen Cooper is here to begin his week-long look at real people struggling to survive. Stephen?
Well, next month, our Regional Commission on Homelessness will issue a report on how to deal with this crisis. But beyond the report are the faces of homelessness. And the image of a man sleeping on a park bench did not paint a complete picture. The real stories include families, children, single men and women who just can't make ends meet. They call them camps. They are the homeless living in the woods.
It's like a third world country to me.
Ed Burke came to Florida with the promise of a job, but the job fell through, and this is Ed's affordable housing. It's not like Ed wants to be here. In fact, it's ironic that Ed's living in the woods with the kind of work experience he has.
I've got a forestry degree. I was a long-term substitute teacher.
Right now, he's teaching Sandy a better way to put up a tent. Sandy's story is perhaps the most surprising. Surprising to the extent that we didn't expect to find a woman living alone in the woods. How long have you been living in the woods?
2 years. Almost 2 years.
I have to think that's pretty dangerous for a single woman.
It is. I was raped and everything out here. Yes, I was. Back in November.
Sandy's story is typical of an increasing number of women who find themselves homeless. A relationship goes sour. A boyfriend or a husband takes off, leaving the women, like Sandy, with nothing.
I struggle day to day to eat and everything else.
The trap Sandy fell through, like so many homeless people, was purely economic.
I had a job, $7 an hour. And it wasn't enough to keep an apartment or anything.
Nobody wakes up at the age of 18 and says, my career goal is to be a homeless person in a camp off of John Young Parkway.
Kathy Jackson is executive director of the Homeless Services Network. She has her work cut out for her.
There are more than 140 camps of homeless people in Orange, Osceola, and Seminole County. We have one outreach team of 3 people that's charged with the responsibility of doing outreach and case management to all of those homeless camps.
It takes everything I got to get through a day.
I work, I do what I have to maintain an apartment. You know, I will do all that. I just need someone to give me that opportunity.
You're not looking for a handout?
No, I'm not.
Just a hand up?
Yes, a hand up would be very well appreciated. Nobody knows. A hand up could help me so much.
Not all homeless people end up in the woods. Kathleen ended up in her car.
My husband that I was married to walked off and abandoned his family. He just left us.
For 2 months, she slept in her car outside this East Colonial Denny's, all the while holding down a job at Sears.
I would wash up during the week inside the Denny's.
Her life, which was bad, then took a turn for the worse.
I got very sick.
And she landed in the hospital.
Come to find out, I had a bleeding brain tumor.
Kathleen is recovering now and has found shelter here at the Coalition for the Homeless, where she is getting case management and assistance to ultimately find permanent housing.
I truly thank God for this place. Truly thank God, because if it would not have been for them, I would have been on the street. And I did think, and I want to stress this, I did think about prostitution.
That is how low she almost sank.
And I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. I am. Because this has been horrendous. Most of the time people feel you ought to be able to fend for yourself. I understand that. But what about when you can't? What about when legitimately, not due to any fault of your own, you can't, and you're just asking for some help?
There's an estimated 8,000 homeless people in Orange, Osceola, and Seminole counties, and that doesn't include an estimated 1,700 homeless children.
8,000, my goodness. So, there's got to be so many stories out there.